Boy, oh boy, Ellen, I love you.
Sean Diddy Combs has always been surrounded by celebrity friends, and he's been on television talk shows for sure, but some of his most famous appearances have been on Ellen DeGeneres' show.
I had the dates wrong all this time. Diddy, come on out. He's...
Oh gosh, the internet is literally imploding right now over this absolutely earth-shattering leaked voicemail that has everyone's jaws on the floor. And trust me, when I say this isn't your typical celebrity drama, this is next-level shocking. People everywhere are frantically speculating about whether Ellen might be connected to the devastating death of Stephen "Twitch" you know, her dear friend and former executive producer who we all adored. But hold on to your seats because it gets even more mind-blowing. There are intense whispers circulating that Twitch might have possessed some seriously explosive information about Ellen, the kind of secrets that could absolutely demolish her entire empire. But here's the twist that's making everyone's head spin. Somehow, mysteriously, Diddy allegedly managed to make it all vanish into thin air. I'm about to spill every single detail about why this alleged story has Ellen absolutely trembling in her designer shoes and what drove her to suddenly pack up and flee to England of all places.
Ellen DeGeneres is saying goodbye to the USA. Multiple outlets are reporting that the comedian and wife Portia de Rossi are bidding farewell to the United States and are moving across the pond to rural England.
Let me paint you a picture of just how powerful Ellen was in Hollywood, and I mean powerful, powerful. For years, she wasn't just a talk show host, she was practically the gatekeeper to stardom. Getting on her show wasn't just a regular TV appearance, it was like being handed the keys to the kingdom. Whether you were a celebrity desperately needing to reshape your public image, or you had a new movie to promote, or you were dropping fresh music, getting that coveted spot on Ellen's show was absolutely guaranteed to skyrocket your career to astronomical heights. She had this incredible ability to turn anything she touched into pure gold.
This right here is the new Ciroc mango. That was just a tacky product placement.
That's all right.
It's all right, but I needed a drink.
Yep.
And here's to us.
Yeah.
Now, darling, let me tell you something absolutely fascinating about how Ellen ran her show. Over the years, it became crystal clear that she definitely had her favorites, certain celebrities who seemed to have an all-access pass to her stage. If Ellen took a liking to you, honey, you weren't just getting one appearance. You were basically becoming part of the furniture. And speaking of favorites, there was one person who seemed to have a permanent VIP backstage pass, none other than the infamous Diddy himself. The frequency of his appearances was just intriguing, to say the least.
Do you know how many times I've been on this show?
I'm gonna guess 20. How many?
27 times. 27.
Wow.
Buckle up, because this is where things start getting seriously wild. Looking back now at all those conversations between Diddy and Ellen on her show, the red flags aren't just waving, they're practically screaming for attention. And I'm not talking about just one or two suspicious moments that could be brushed off as coincidence. We're looking at an entire ocean of warning signs that somehow everyone completely missed at the time. Let me take you back to this absolutely telling moment in 2009. Ellen was chatting with Diddy about his birthday celebrations, and he basically called her out right there on national television, saying he'd been religiously inviting her to all his parties, but she mysteriously never showed up to any of them. Then came this incredibly revealing moment when he mentioned his parties started around 9:30, and Ellen's reaction? Oh my goodness. Her shock was so telling, it practically wrote its own story.
So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties, you just haven't seemed to show up to
No,
any
well,
of them.
is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
Like 9:30.
Really? That early?
Yeah.
I could make that.
Yeah.
But I could think of you of starting a party at like midnight.
Now, darling, you don't need to be a master detective to read between these very obvious lines. Anyone in the know understood perfectly well that Ellen was almost certainly referring to Diddy's other parties, you know, those incredibly exclusive gatherings where allegedly all sorts of unspeakable things went down. But wait, because it gets even more interesting. In that very same year, right after the devastating Chris Brown and Rihanna incident that shocked the world, Diddy made the controversial decision to let Chris stay at his house. When he appeared on Ellen's show and got questioned about this choice, his response was incredibly defensive and raised so many eyebrows. He went on this whole spiel about, "It's my house, I can let whoever I want stay there," and continued with this passionate speech about not judging people and being there for friends when they need help, regardless of the circumstances. As the years rolled by, Diddy and Ellen's relationship just kept getting closer and more intriguing. He was becoming such a regular fixture on her show, while other guests and crew members seemed to come and go like revolving doors. It was as if they shared this special understanding that nobody else was privy to. The story takes an even more fascinating turn around 2014 when Ellen brought Twitch onto her show as a guest DJ. Let me tell you, the audience didn't just like him, they absolutely fell head over heels in love with his incredible energy and magnetic personality. His presence was so electric that before anyone knew it, he wasn't just making occasional appearances, he became an integral part of the show's DNA, essentially becoming Ellen's right-hand man. By 2020, they even elevated him to the prestigious position of co-executive producer. But honey, as anyone who spent time in Hollywood knows all too well, what glitters on the surface isn't always gold underneath. Behind those amazing dance breaks and heartwarming conversations that had us all swooning, there was apparently a whole different narrative unfolding behind the scenes. Multiple insiders have been coming forward with whispers that Twitch saw things, deeply disturbing things that would shock even the most seasoned Hollywood veterans. He allegedly witnessed firsthand just how toxic things really were behind the scenes at The Ellen Show. We're talking serious staff mistreatment, manipulation tactics, the whole 9 yards. Poor Twitch might have been carrying around secrets that Ellen was desperate to keep buried in the deepest vaults of Hollywood. Then, in 2022, something absolutely unthinkable happened that shook the entertainment world to its core. Twitch was found gone. Just like that, without any warning. The circumstances surrounding his passing were so mysterious that rumors started spreading faster than wildfire in the Hollywood Hills. Everyone knew how incredibly close he and Ellen were. He wasn't just her DJ or dance partner, he was her trusted confidant, her dear friend. But now, with all these shocking whispers about Ellen's alleged connections to Diddy's infamous freak-offs, people are starting to ask some really uncomfortable questions. Did Ellen, whether knowingly or unknowingly, introduce Twitch to a world that was far too dark for his pure, beautiful soul? Let me tell you about these notorious Diddy parties that have been haunting Hollywood's elite circles for years. These weren't your typical celebrity gatherings with champagne and caviar. These freak-offs were allegedly these super exclusive, ultra-private events where things got wild in ways that would make even the most seasoned Hollywood partygoers blush. Several A-listers, including Ellen herself, were rumored to have attended these gatherings. While there's no concrete proof linking Ellen to these parties, just the whispers alone have been enough to start dismantling her carefully crafted, squeaky clean image. Now, this is where the story takes an absolutely heartbreaking turn. According to Twitch's wife, Allison Holker, she discovered things after his passing that completely turned her world upside down. While going through the emotional task of cleaning out his closet, and this detail will break your heart, she found loads of prescriptions hidden away in the back. Can you imagine discovering something like that about someone you thought you knew everything about? In her absolutely gut-wrenching interview with People magazine, she was completely devastated. "We were picking out his funeral outfit when we found them. It was so triggering. There was so much I didn't know about." But that's not even the most shocking part. She also found his personal journal, and oh my goodness, the things he wrote about, including an alleged assault by some male individual that he had never spoken about to anyone. The plot thickens even more, darling, because apparently Ellen was the only other person who really knew the real Twitch. And then this mysterious voicemail supposedly from Ellen started circulating in certain circles. While nobody knows exactly what was said in this voicemail, it apparently contains hints about Twitch being exposed to things he was never meant to see, secrets that were simply too heavy for any one person to bear. The circumstances surrounding Twitch's final hours are absolutely haunting and raise so many questions. He checked into a motel just 15 minutes from his family home, but here's the detail that's making everyone's heads spin. He didn't take his car. For someone like Twitch, this was completely out of character and set off immediate alarm bells. When Allison couldn't reach him, she instantly knew in her heart that something was terribly wrong and filed a missing persons report. What happened next just shatters my heart into a million pieces. But darling, this is where things get really suspicious and start raising all sorts of red flags. Initially, authorities reported that there was no note found, absolutely nothing to explain this tragedy. Then suddenly, after intense media pressure and public speculation reached a fever pitch, boom, they mysteriously discovered a note. I mean, seriously? This complete flip-flop has everyone's head spinning and asking some very serious questions. Why wasn't it mentioned from the very beginning? Was it genuinely overlooked, or is something more sinister at play here? You see, Ellen's carefully crafted be kind persona had already been crumbling under the weight of numerous allegations about toxic workplace behavior. If Twitch really had dirt on her, well, it would have been the final nail in the coffin of her career. Some industry insiders are suggesting her secrets might run even deeper than anyone initially thought. Was our beloved Twitch caught in the dangerous crossfire of Ellen's alleged connections to Hollywood's elite inner circle? Did he feel trapped by knowledge that he couldn't safely share without risking everything? The choice of location for his final moments has everyone absolutely puzzled and searching for answers. Why that particular motel so close to home? Was it a desperate last-minute decision made in a moment of crisis, or was there something more calculated about this choice? Some people think he was trying to protect his family from something, while others believe he might have been meeting someone or just seeking solitude after something overwhelmingly devastating happened. So my darlings, what do you make of all this? Was this truly just a tragic case of a beautiful soul struggling silently with his inner demons, or is there something far darker lurking beneath the surface of this heart-wrenching story? And what about that mysteriously appearing note? Was it truly just an oversight in the initial investigation, or are we looking at a calculated cover-up orchestrated by powerful forces behind the scenes? Drop your thoughts below and let's unravel this mysterious web together. Until next time, stay safe, stay curious, and remember, in Hollywood, things are rarely what they seem on the surface.